What's going on, everybody? So guys, we got some pretty crazy news I want to talk about. One of the things today I want to discuss is the potential of 1,000 new slots for champion storage, which sounds pretty insane to me. I want to hear from you guys. Is that needed? But before we talk about that, I want to go over the upcoming summoning event. If you're going for the Gretel fusion, then you're going to have to summon this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to have to do some summoning stuff. So these are the super exciting, enticing events you get to summon during. Spoiler alert, they're kind of trash. So this Thursday, November 7th, which the Fusion Summon Rush starts on Friday. So you won't even be able to benefit the Summon Rush during this. Not a huge deal. Summon Rush, you get points based on the shard type you open, whereas Champion Chase is based on the rarity you pull. So Ancient Shards are not very good during Summon Rushes anyways, but we can get a guaranteed champion. Summon champions using Ancient Shards while the event is active, and you're guaranteed Eolfrig by your 40th Ancient Shard, which, if I remember correctly, that's a epic champion for the Mikage fusion. So if you're close to getting her, that could be an awesome time to actually open up your 40 Ancient Shards, pick up Eolfrig, and get closer to your Mikage fusion. That could be worth it for you. But as far as the fusion summons, this Friday, November 1st. What? This Friday, November 1st? This Friday's not November 1st. Maybe this is all incorrect to begin with. I'm going to assume they put this incorrectly and it should be November 8th. It'd be even better if they just mistype this whole thing, because what comes next is we're planning to launch a 2x event to summon epic and legendary champions from Primal Shards. And I don't know about you, but epics and legendaries are not what I'm excited about from primals. I'm excited for the mythicals, and it's still a 0.5% chance. So even at 2x, it's only 1%. Why is there not a 2x on mythical champions? Player, I pulled basically 200 primals and finally got my first mythical. It was awesome, but there are so many players out there who still have no mythical. Doing a 2x mythical wouldn't hurt you. That's what we're looking for. Nobody wants epic and legendary champions from Primal Shards. And then on top of that, well, to the back, I want legendaries. That's awesome. I'll take them. I love them. But if you're going to do 2x, do 2x for everything, specifically the mythicals. Mythicals and legendaries and epics. That's a good way to do it. But then on top of that, at the same time, we're planning to launch a 10x event to summon Hansel Witch Hunter from Primal Shards. I'm going to be honest, if you're going for the fusion and you're specifically going for the Summon Rush at the bottom, I wouldn't be pulling very many Primal Shards. This is a 2x primal, a fake, essentially 2x primal. You're going to get more points for Primal Shards, but Sacred Shards are going to be better to pull for most players, because Primal Shards, unless you're buying them, are very difficult to come by. You should really be saving for a 2x for Mythical and Legendary, and we're coming up on Christmas, so we're probably going to have a bunch of 2x events, and hopefully they're correct 2x events. So I personally would say for that, and the 10x champion being Hansel isn't really that enticing. I'm going to do some content on this duo. I believe they're still on the test server. I want to try them out some because I wasn't able to. We were in the hospital having our baby girl at the time when we had access on the test server, but I want to try them out, see how they are, but I wouldn't be pulling for this hopes for a Hansel personally. And I feel like it's kind of just wasting your primals, since Sacred Shards and Void Shards are still worth a good amount of points and they're far easier to come by. However, there is no boosted event. Your Sacred Shards are just going to be flat out the value. So I think it's typically 500 points for a Sacred Shard. And if the Epic is relatively expensive, I may have to pull all my Sacreds. But that's probably going to be better than opening up my 1 or 2 Primals with 2x Legendaries. That's pretty trash, but that's up to you to decide. For me personally, I'm going to try to get around it by pulling other Shard types and hopefully make out fine there and be able to pick up the Epic Champion for the Summon Rush and be able to miss 4 from somewhere else. Because if you're not doing that, then you're going to have to make sure you do everything else. So I'm probably going to miss some events, so I'm going to pick up the Summon Rush. But on top of that, let's talk about the other more interesting stuff in my opinion, which is the basically answer to some frequently asked questions. So up first is champion storage. We hear your concerns. The development team has already begun testing an expansion for champion storage to address these limitations. Although we can't provide specific details yet, their ultimate goal is to develop a technical solution that will allow for a major storage expansion up to 1,000 additional slots in the future. We'll keep you updated as this progresses. Now, this could be the extra 1,000 slots from a whole range of places. It could be from your main storage, cost a lot of gems or silver to expand this. It could be a reserve vault, which they did give us an extra 200 spots, which was awesome. Very much appreciated for free as well. It could be your master vault. Who knows where it's going to be? But me personally, I don't know about you, but I don't need that much more slots. I mean, maybe some players do, but I have a lot of champions who can still be built. And I'm sure a lot of players still do as well. Champion storage isn't so much of an issue for me. The reserve vault's just holding food for future champion training tournaments anyways. And when it comes to building champions, the biggest issue for me, is that once you start building a bunch of champions, once you're looking through the equipped stuff, it kind of slows down the game. Like you can see here, I'm scrolling through. It's a little bit choppy. It's not too bad. I don't have a ton of stuff equipped, but I've been in accounts where they have like 4,000 pieces, and it becomes very slow to scroll through. Like this is pretty fast to scroll through. But then when I hit equipped, it starts to become a little bit more choppy. Like I said, you can't really tell too bad right now. The computer's handling it fine. But I've definitely noticed some slowdowns once you start getting more and more champions equipped, which if you add an extra 1,000 slots, it could be cool, but you're running into the issue of people are going to mule gear and their accounts are just going to slow down. So hopefully they can fix both those issues. This isn't a problem. Like if they add the extra 1,000 slots and the game can handle it fine, it's awesome. There's no issues with that. And it's cool to have the extra champion storage. I don't need it, but I'm sure other players, I guess they probably do. They are adding a lot of new champions to the game. So if you're a collector, then I could see how you can need all this stuff. Announcing personal data remover. Yeah, we don't need that just yet. Siege improvements. Many of you have raised concerns about the issue of tanking in Siege. The game design team is actively working on ways to minimize the impact of such exploits to ensure fairer gameplay. In the meantime, keep an eye out for the changes announced in the upcoming patch. Give them a try and share your feedback. Siege is something that my clan hasn't been focused on too heavily, but there is tanking going on. Essentially, players just hit the extra attacks and just lose intentionally so they can lower their points and be matched up with easier clans in the future. Player should know this is going to happen. Ranking, I'm not for sure where we can see our clan points, honestly. Maybe, I don't know where you can see it at. Battle report, maybe somewhere around here. Our tier points, tier 6, let's see. 2454. I don't know where this clan's at. I don't know if we could even see where that clan's at, honestly. But that's where we're at, is 2454. So if you're able to drop that, then you're going to be matched against a little bit easier clans, especially if the enemy clan isn't tanking. Like if the enemy clan isn't tanking, they're playing it just normally, then they're going to be higher, and the more coordinated teams are going to be a little bit lower, making it for more difficult matchups, which is maybe something you guys have noticed. Our first few clan sieges were really good. We played it normally, and then we've been matched against some pretty difficult matchups recently. So on from that, it'd be good for them to fix that for sure. Number 3, Arena Blessings in Siege, Incinerate, and Lethal Dose. Many of you have asked for the Incinerate and Lethal Dose blessing to be rebalanced to make them viable in Siege battles. The developers agree with you and plan to adjust these blessings for use in the mode in the future update. However, speaking of arena auras, they are sticking to their vision of encouraging players to develop unique teams specifically for Siege, rather than transferring arena team setups. That's okay. That's what they said since the beginning. I don't really care about that. The arena auras would be cool, but having it a little bit different than the arena is fine with me as well. Having Lethal Dose and Incinerate move over to Siege, honestly, if those move over to just general content, that'd be pretty sweet. They'd be used a lot more, because currently they're just not used that often. Some champions like Sulfurion, champions like Gizmak, they'll use Incinerate, but Lethal Dose doesn't get that much love, honestly. And if it was open up to any content, it would definitely be used in a lot more champions for sure. I would like to see that. On to the next ones, Altar of Souls UI improvements. Devs have acknowledged their feedback to improve the user interface in the future to make navigating the Altar of Souls smoother and more intuitive. I could see how this could need a little bit better filtering, but to be honest, it's not horrible for me. I don't keep a huge stockpile of souls though, so maybe for some players who have a bunch of souls, it's a little more difficult. Maybe you could search by, I don't know, what else? Like maybe just a actual search feature. Maybe it could be better. But for me, I mean, looking at land, it's not an issue for me, but it could be an issue for other players. So I could see how improving this could be good for sure. As far as the next up stuff, clan chat and game, they need to fix the general chat more than anything else. I mean, the in-game chat is horrendous, but when you look at global, it's just players recruiting for their clan. Nobody has any conversations here, and I'm surprised this has not been something that's been addressed that I know of. And it's not even addressed here. There has been a strong demand for an in-game button that allows clan leaders to set up a Discord link for their clans. The developers are considering how to implement this to better facilitate clan communication. This could be cool. I don't mind that idea at all. The only thing I'd be slightly worried about is if it's a link to click, is clicking into one of those malicious links that happen all the time in Discord servers where they're like, oh, join this page for OnlyFans, yada, 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 and you get a bug. Don't click those. You're going to get hacked. It's a terrible idea. And then your account's going to be spamming all the Discords and people are going to know that you clicked that link. So don't click those links. And that would be my only concern. But I guess that's just where, hey, don't click links you don't know. And hopefully you're in a good clan. But I have really no clue. It would be good, though, to have an easy way for players to get into the Discord. But currently, if you want people to join the Discord, just do join Discord. People can type out discord.gg / and then fill in the rest behind that. It's not that difficult to do. The button would make it more convenient. Serpent's Will. This is not fun to deal with. As mentioned in last week's Raid Digest, the developers are actively analyzing this issue and are working on a solution to address it specifically and make it less stressful. I don't know, make it to where only one head or two heads at most could have Serpent's Will, period. So if one comes back, it can't have Serpent's Will. There's a lot of ways you can make it more manageable, but there are a ridiculous number of times where there are 4 heads all with Serpent's Will, and every single hit you do is doing nothing. It makes it difficult to deal with some of the stages. Some teams have a bigger issue with this than others. Of course, I do want them to balance it out correctly so Trunda teams aren't back into abusing it, because I know it was a big thing to shut down Trunda teams, and if they make it to where only 2 heads can have it at a time, then Trunda could be nuking the other 2, and then it could make it clunky. So I don't know what the best answer for it would be, but having some answer is going to be extremely important, because having to deal with 4 heads of Serpent's Will is so annoying. It just makes your run do so much less damage. And then we have inbox organization, stacking identical items. The developers understand and acknowledge the need to save space in the inbox and are exploring options to allow stacking items with identical attributes. However, please note this will not happen immediately, as some other things are in the work and take priority for now. So would this be like stacking energy potions? Like if you have, okay, these are all different days, like 2 of these are for 80 days, you stack it into 1, maybe? That could be cool and save some space there. Definitely, if you're somebody who purchases a bunch of energy packs and you're getting the ones that have like 18, 24, or 30 energy, you quickly fill up your inbox. And having a slider to use those, like, okay, I want to use 2, I want to use 3, would be fantastic. Definitely could be very useful for those players who are buying these big energy packs. And there's really no reason not to, right? Like 17 energy dropped at once. There's some that's much bigger. They're like 40, 50, or more, especially coming up on Black Friday. People get their inbox filled up really quick, which is why those accounts you'll see sometimes with 100,000 energy up here is because they have so much in their inbox they just can't store anymore. So they have to claim all the energy so it doesn't expire on them. Whereas you could just stack it all up, allow more room for the whales to make purchases. But either way, guys, that's my opinions on what the current news of the game is. I think the Summon Rush coming up is pretty garbage. 2x promo shards with no mythical champions. This is something they've done a long time ago, and nobody liked it then. Nobody's going to like it now. Just change it. There's no reason to do that other than just keeping mythicals away from players, but I couldn't get a mythical anyways for a long time. I'm really going to try my best to not summon outside of the 2x mythical champion specifically events. 2x legendary and epics, it's just slightly better ancient shards with a much higher price tag. But guys, thank you all very much for watching the video. Let me know what you think about this stuff. Let me know what you think about the extra champion storage. Do you max out your champion storage? I'm actually really interested in that one. If they give us 1,000 slots for free, that would be incredible. Got a feeling it's not going to be for free, but do you max this out? I've not maxed it out for a long time, honestly, but maybe you have. Guys, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one.